Hey, well, women are strong and independent, so I'm sure that they can handle all of this with a breeze. I mean, they are better than men these days, aren't they?
Women don't need men anymore. And not like, well, we don't need men in the world. Like, no, women can survive on their own without men. Like, they don't need their dad, they don't need their husband, they don't need a male in their life to sign things, to get them money, to get them banks, to give them access to properties and housing. They can do that on their own now. And this is exactly why we have a society that we do. It's not that we don't want to date men. It's that the men and the options we're realizing aren't that great. And like literally dating a bad man now will impair you. Like it'll bring you down. So it's better for a lot of women to be single. Sabrina Carpenter is literally proof of this. Like her song is so on point with like, please don't make me look bad. Please don't make my life worse, because it's embarrassing now to like date somebody who's not leveling you up.
Here's the thing. The military, which protects our borders, is predominantly male. Logistics and freight workers who handle goods and products between countries and supply chains are predominantly male. The infrastructure of our entire modern world is basically ran on male energy. But because modern women live in this society and system where they think that there's no more consequences to their actions, they just think that they can spew anything that comes to their mind. Here's another funny thing. Divorce statistics prove that men's lives are ruined by women too. And also, if you don't need men, why should a man level you up in a relationship? That doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. But you go, girl.
I don't think successful women need a man. And I think at some level, there's an advantageous advantage in not having one, because now you only have to calibrate to yourself and your needs and what your desire is. You don't have a partnership that you need to maintain and put energy into and make sure is balanced while you're doing you and that partnership.
Here's the thing. A man created the microphone, the cables, and built the corporations where 100% of successful women work. Unless men tame the elements and build civilizations, women don't have the ability to be quote unquote successful. Women can't even become efficient hunters to achieve caloric surplus. Go figure.
The reason men need to be pursuing women is because we literally don't need you. We don't need you. So why the hell would we pursue something that we don't need? Studies have shown that women who are married have a lower life expectancy than women who are unmarried. We don't need you. In fact, you actually actively kill us. On the other hand, men who are married have a higher life expectancy than unmarried men. You need us. You need us. So, of course, we are the fucking prize. Of course, you should be pursuing us. Why the hell would we pursue something that will kill us earlier? Woo! Period.
You know, it's all fun and games that you can say this when the reality is men laid down the cables on the bottom of the ocean so that we could have the convenience of the internet. Men programmed the software on your phone so that you can record yourself and talk all this garbage. Men drill for the oil so that your phone can get delivered for you off of Amazon. Men mine coal for power stations so that you can actually have electricity to charge the phone that you have the audacity to talk nonsense on. And here's the thing. If you don't need men, then why don't you just go live in the forest with the bear? Okay, now let's talk about life expectancy and marriage. Life expectancy is also factored in with things like weight and exercise. And everyone knows that as soon as women get comfortable and married, they get fat and lazy. Women used to be the prize, but now you're just ran through and entitled. Go figure.
Do women need men?
Do women need men? No. We don't need y'all.
I do. I need my man. Baby, I need my man.
Okay. Why don't you need men?
What do I need a man for? To do what?
Everything.
Okay, why do you need a man?
Because we was created to be soft and nurturing. We ain't created to be working hard. We need a man. I need a man. I need my man.
I mean, I got a man, but I don't feel like I need him. But I like him around.
More
I feel
than
like
men.
men need women more than we need them. Y'all can't do shit yourself.
So, after men have tamed the environment, built factories for the clothes you wear, create the makeup and the industries which feed the entire planet, we don't have the nerve to say that they don't need us. You know what? At this point, you can just send the asteroid.
You are physically stronger than me. If you wanted to, you could kill me.
Don't be scared.
I have been having the thought that I feel so weird saying it. I don't even know how to say it. I'm sorry. You are physically stronger than me. If you wanted to, you could kill me. I would say that you would never do that. But, like, there is not a 0% chance of that happening either. Like, these women who thought their husbands would never did. The reality of that has been weighing on me lately. And I'm scared to talk to you about it because I don't want you to like, get the idea to do anything.
Thank you for sharing that with me. That is emotionally powerful and super heavy for you to carry. I have never once had a thought of what my life would be like without you, much less what it would be like to carry something through like that. Yeah, I think it's time for this man to really consider having a divorce and leaving this mentally unstable child who's currently trapped in an adult body to go live with the bear in the forest.
It is absolutely insane that there are so many men out there who lose respect for other men the moment those men decide to respect women. Like, best case scenario, they'll treat it like Ryan Gosling, where they're obsessed with him, but then they're like, oh, we don't know why he does that feminism thing. They just kind of ignore it. But all too often, they will become actually cruel to the men who do speak out. And it's because these men hate women. They hate women and they hate anyone who stands with women. They want women to feel like no man will ever side with them, like no man will ever help them. And they get frustrated the moment a man breaks that narrative and goes out of his way to be kind and show empathy to a woman. They want to keep the expectations on the floor. Men can be capable of so much kindness and empathy and love, and it is absolutely vile that they are discouraged from showing any of that.
Those men are basically unaware of the times that we are living in, and they're trying to sell us out so that they can get a little bit of stanky on their pinky. But on a serious note, what should these men speak up out against? How much you delete babies? How you divorce husbands and leave them financially ruined? How women are cheaters and initiate a majority of divorces? How you commit paternity fraud? I mean, which one is it? Please, lead the way.
Stop showing me your loser husband. Stop showing me your loser husband. Stop showing me your loser husband, boyfriend, fiance, partner, whomstever. Stop. Stop posting it. They just like to get their girls together, to relate, you know? Like, does your husband ever make the kids lunch, but really he just makes one of them lunch and then the other three go to school hungry, and then you have to leave work even though it was a really important day when you were about to have a big meeting about your promotion. You had to leave work to get them Subway, and then he didn't even fill up your car with gas, so then you had to get gas on the way, and so then you were late for that meeting. Can anyone relate? No, we can't. No, we can't, because that's insane. I would rather be waterboarded than spend even an hour a day, a minute, raising an adult child who is capable, who is all there, as far as we know. I am tired of seeing people type out, "What is weaponized incompetence?" 8,000 times to these women. They don't care. The women who are posting these things, they don't care, they know. Unless your bags are packed and in the car as you hit the post button, do not post it. Unless you already have an exit plan, stop.
The funny thing is, women like this can always talk about loser husbands, but never talk about fat, unattractive wives. Let me leave that there. And saying that raising an adult child when you behave like one is nasty work. And here's the funny thing. Women have the audacity to call men adult children, but what adult child goes to work every single day to make sure that his household is taken care of and his wife has food and shelter and clothing and can take a vacation here and there? Weaponized incompetence is the elite playbook of modern women who know how to behave at work and school but generally raise hell at home. Go figure.
Emily, I can't help you carry groceries because it's implying that women are not strong enough to carry all the groceries. I believe in women too much to help you carry these. I'm gonna need you to put all these groceries in the fridge as well. I'm not gonna mansplain how to, organize a fridge. You're way too smart and strong for that. So if you could just put all this away, I'm gonna go play League. See you later.
I swear this brother could fix the entire world in one day.
If it was actually true that you could hire women and you could pay your workforce and save 20%, 30% on salary, wouldn't the companies just hire women if it was actually true that you could just pay women less?
But for these large corporations that are governed and run by men...
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all governed by women. Look at the HR department.
The HR departments, hiring departments.
If you're talking about current day, we're also talking about equal pay.
When you say equal, though, why do you think it needs to be equal?
Your professional life, it should be equal.
You think that there should be the exact same amount of men and women in the exact same amount of positions getting the exact same pay?
I think it should be based on, your resume, your experience.
And that's why women get paid less.
How's that?
Women have to take time out for maternity leave. Men are willing to work a lot longer hours. If a man works a lot longer hours, then he's going to get paid more. And also they have different interests as well. I mean, men will tend to go into STEM fields, and STEM fields pay more, whereas women tend to go to pink jobs. They tend to go to childcare.
I typically find that there's more women in my STEM field classes than men, personally.
Yeah, but it's classes. But you look into the workplace, and then they're absolutely dominated by men, because men are more interested in things, and women are more interested in people.
I don't think that's true.
Funny how women are never fighting for equality in industries like modeling or OnlyFans, or fighting to buy men drinks in the club. Huh, go figure.
The thing that frustrates me when you talk about the gender pay gap is people who suggest that it can be explained by the fact that women make different choices. Women have different priorities. So people will often say, well, actually, if you really look at the data, what you can see is that it starts to happen around the time of maternity. So women are choosing to leave the workforce, or they're choosing to take time out. And of course, there's an inevitable impact on their careers financially. And the implication there is, there we go, we've explained it. There's no longer a problem. And what people don't always say is, well, don't we think that's a problem? If a heterosexual couple is choosing to have a child and it's having a devastating knock-on effect on that woman financially and in terms of her career, I'm not sure that is an acceptable explanation, actually. Maybe we need to look at flexible working. Maybe we need to look at shared parental leave. Maybe we need to look at the paltry statutory paternity leave and the way in which the current situation is set up, meaning that for many couples it doesn't make any sense for anyone except the woman's career to take that hit. That isn't a kind of end of the conversation. That should be the beginning. Great if we found a driving factor behind the gender pay gap, but then let's tackle it. Let's not just sit back and accept that that's natural and normal.
Here's the thing. When men take the back seat in becoming breadwinners and decide to become house husbands, women suddenly feel overwhelmed and like they're being abused, and they need a man to step up to the job. So on one end, women are fighting for equality, and on the other end, they want to have the advantages of being a protected class. This is what we call confusion at its finest. Go figure.
So new U.S. Census data shows that the gender pay gap actually widened for the second year in a row. So for every dollar a man makes in America, a woman only makes 81 cents. And what's concerning is that women made 84 cents for every dollar a man made in 2022. And the ratios are even worse for women of color, particularly Black women are only making 65 cents for every dollar a white man makes. And this is following reports that women are leaving the workforce in increasing numbers, especially women who have young children. It says that women miss out on an average of $14,000 per year compared to their male counterparts. The gender pay gap has mostly stayed stagnant for the past 2 decades, but in the last 2 years, what's incredibly concerning is that it's actually widened. There are some states that have mandatory parental leave policies, and there's also a handful of states that have pay transparency laws, but it's pretty hard to enforce these things. And with the rise of remote work, it's actually helped women be able to continue working while taking care of their families, but the wage gap is even wider for women who work remotely. And I don't think that these siloed state laws and individual company parental policies are really going to help move the needle here. There really needs to be a bigger societal shift.
You know what? This is all a lie. Women are actually outpacing men in the workplace, and women are getting way more college degrees and are generally out-earning men. You always hear women saying, where are all the good men, and a man has to make more money than me. What these studies always fail to highlight are the hours worked and the professions which are chosen. But hey, continue with your propaganda. Go figure.
What you would say to someone who would tell you that the gender pay gap doesn't exist anymore?
Oh dear. I'd take a deep breath and I'd say that the gender pay gap is definitely misunderstood. Many people think the gender pay gap is when men are paid more than women for the exact same role. That is not the case. The gender wage gap, which is what that is illegal in the UK. So if you're doing the exact same role as a man and he is being paid more than you, that is illegal. What the gender pay gap is when we see more women in junior roles, and then once we go up to like the C-suite, so CEO, CFO, directors, we're seeing more men in those roles. That is the gender pay gap. Why are we not seeing women go from those young junior roles, admin roles, all the way through to the C-suite? Why are we not seeing that? And it's because somewhere along the way, we end up with this gap. And so it means that on average, women are earning less because we're in these lower income roles, which is really frustrating. And it is a problem. We see things like the motherhood penalty. So in, 30s and 40s, women just dropping out of the workforce because it doesn't make financial sense for them to be there because they have unpaid care duties, also known as looking after your child or looking after family members. You see then the knock-on effects of the gender pension gap where women have less in their pots to begin with, and so therefore when they get to retirement they have like 30 to sometimes 50% less in their retirement pots than their male counterparts. So yes, the gender pay gap very much does exist. It is a real problem, and I genuinely believe that if we were teaching financial education to young women, that wouldn't exist because we would be able to help them navigate through it and get them into these incredible roles. Because I see so many comments where men will be like, but they just don't apply for them, or, they don't want to do the hard jobs. And I'm like, that's just not true. It's just not a thing anymore. Like, it angers me so much. I won't even carry on talking about it. But the gender pay gap definitely does exist, but it isn't a wage problem. It's a career problem.
You know what? I'm going to let Gavin do all the talking here.
There's different ways to look at the data, but the big picture here is women do earn less in America because they choose to. They would rather go to their daughter's piano recital than stay all night at work working on a proposal. What? So they end up earning less. They're less ambitious, and I think this is sort of God's way. This is nature's way of saying women should be at home with the kids. They're happier there.
I hope that your viewers do not take you, sir, seriously.
There's a great book you should read. It's called Why Men Earn More, and it's all about women choosing to put family over work, and that's why they earn less.
Having a choice does not mean that you're less ambitious, and your comments are absolutely deplorable.
Most women are happier at home. They are pretending that they like working, and they're not making money because they don't stay all night at the office. They don't go the extra mile. They don't work all weekend. You're making a mistake. You would be much happier at home with a husband and children.
Oh, boy. Yeah, do I really need to say anything else? Let's go to the next video.
Whenever women come onto the internet and start talking about how they enjoy submission, it's the best thing ever, they love it, it's so much fun, I promise you they are lying, okay? There's always people in the comments that say like, girl, whatever, you're a slave, you're this, you're that. And honestly, the people who think it's weird, y'all are right. Because the things that God requests you to do aren't supposed to be fun. That's why he calls women to submit, because it's not something that comes easily. Duh, because who's going to tell me what to do? There's nothing easy or pleasurable about constantly being told to do something else. Because you're right, there is nothing enjoyable about being submissive, okay? It is a hard thing to do to keep your mouth closed when you want to do something and your husband's telling you not to do it. When you ask him for something and he says no. When he wants to do something else and change the plan even though you guys were on a certain rhythm or a certain vibe. It's a disruption. It is disruptive to you. All the people in the comments that call these women pick-me's and call these women slaves, y'all are right. My husband does love me for me and my opinions and stuff, but there are times where my opinion can get in the way, of the mission. But we're human and he totally gets it. It's not like he's like, hey, like you have to listen to me or anything like that. But I do see how the more that I kind of reserve my energy and focus more on my beauty or focus on prepping for motherhood or cleaning the house and the more that I focus on me instead of trying to like give my 2 cents on everything, the more that he finds me attractive and he's drawn to me, and the more that I find him attractive because he is just making more decisions. And it's really hot to look at your man and to know that he's doing shit and holding shit down while you get to just be hot all day.
Yeah, another woman with a pirate avatar, typical tattoos and piercings. Here's the thing. For you to say that women who enjoy submission are liars, that's quite a broad generalization. Can you actually speak for all women? And here's the thing. Discipline and strict diets are tough in the beginning, but as time passes, they are the reward. So let me get this right. Women love going to work and love having careers and love being independent, but they need to submit to their company regulations and their bosses. So basically, your behavior just sounds like a child. And yeah, you can basically say that you're a slave at your job because your boss tells you what to do. For the fact that you're aware that your opinion can compromise the mission, yet you continue to offer that unsolicited advice, talk about sleeping with the enemy. Go figure.
I'm not gonna lie, don't tell the feminists, but I would rather stay home and cook and clean. I would rather do it. When I tell you I love to cook and clean, just don't tell the feminists. I love to do it, and I love to do it for a man. I do. However, not outside of marriage. Absolutely not. That sounds like hell. But just to see the look on a man's face when you cook him a meal that is so good, you could just tell he's proud. There's just something, I don't know, there's something within me as a woman. Maybe it's almost turning 25 that got me thinking, like, this cooking and cleaning thing isn't bad. Like, I just don't understand why women wanted to work. What was the point? Like, there is nothing satisfying about working. A man that takes care of you, a man that provides for you, you don't have to worry about anything, no bills. I will cook and clean all day. Like, what is the complaint? I'm making some fire food tonight. I'm going to serve it, and I'm just enjoying it. Yes, I'm crying over some onions, but is this what we fought for as women? I don't know. I'd rather cry over some onions than cry about a job. That's for sure.
Marriage is 100% free slave service. Ladies, please listen. If you're engaged to a man, you need to have this conversation. Who's going to do the housework? And if he says, well, I'll go to work while you stay home and clean the house. So he's going to go build his career. It's like he has an investment that's going to build. And you what? You get to clean the house? Your name better be on that house. You better not have any weird prenups. But you should be paid for your time because maid service, it's not free. You got to pay somebody to do maid service. So he can actually pay for somebody to do maid service in your house so you can also build your career, or you can split the household chores evenly. What's up with men expecting us to be free maid service? Free childcare service. You need to sit down and calculate the hours that you put into the house and the children and make sure that he has the same hours on his timesheet too. Because this is work. And it shouldn't be given freely because you're a woman. You can get your own bank account now, ladies. You can get your own credit card. You can buy your own home. Men need to step up and offer something more than love and romance.
Here's the thing. Most prenups can get thrown out of court, so marriage is far from a slavery system. And why do women always refer to being a free maid or free childcare service? Ma'am, that is your child too, and you also live in the house. You know, in most marriage regimes, men have to split their assets with their wives, which is why most women initiate divorces and steal children so that they can get child support and alimony. You know, it's such a pity that this is a typical modern woman victim mindset. Stay single, men. Go figure.
On today's episode of Things a Man Said That Pissed Me the Shit Bitch Off, a month ago I made a video talking about how marriage is a scam for women, turning them into free slaves for men. And a man commented on the video saying, the only reason you think marriage is a scam is because you grew up in a toxic household. And first of all, let me say, I do think that's a very valid point. Shay, are you projecting your childhood trauma onto the system of marriage? And I think no, because I've went to therapy, I've done the internal work. I sit with myself and I question my motives and my intentions and where the feelings are coming from. And I don't think this is just because I grew up watching a shitty marriage. I think it's because I've heard and seen a lot of experiences from women and their perspectives. I listen to women from a young age, from childhood to adulthood. Every time I ask a woman, how's marriage? Should I get married? They go, hey, come here, listen to me. I'm serious. Don't ever get married. Promise me, don't ever get married. It's not worth it. Stay single. They always, every single time they say that. So do I think marriage is a scam because my parents' relationship, or is it because I listen to women? And it's not only just that. Let's go a little bit further. There was a study in Harvard that they did on men and women that are married and single. Women that are single are more fulfilled and happier than women that are married. Men that are married are more fulfilled and happier than men that are single. Why? Because in marriage, most of the time, men benefit way more. They don't contribute as much to like help out emotionally. A lot of the times they won't contribute half as much as the woman does with the children. And then they won't do any of the like household labor as much as the woman because of the way that they're taught from childhood. It's like, oh, when you grow up, you get a wife. She's going to give up her life dreams, her hopes and everything, have your children for free, stay home, take care of your children and do all the chores you don't want to do. And you just have to go to work, buddy, because you're a man. You're doing the best thing ever. And then he exploits her free labor. Because imagine if you could just have somebody at home doing all your chores and taking care of your kids. You could get way further in life, right? That's how most of the men operate in marriage, okay? And I'm not saying all men. There's a lot of women that come in the comments, or sometimes they come in the comments and say, my husband's good, he does this. And I'm not doubting that your husband does that. I'm happy for you and I'm grateful for that you had that, and I want more of that out here. And then sometimes people go, oh, not all men. Okay, but we're not gonna solve problems by focusing on the people that aren't a problem. You get that? Like, that's dumb. If you wanna solve problems, you have to talk about it and find a solution. So the reason I'm talking about this, honestly, is to help other women not to get stuck in these non-reciprocal relationships that drag them down and ruin their whole fucking life just for the idea of being loved by a man. Okay, you gotta be with a man that's done the internal work to identify, first of all, that there is a patriarchal system, because a lot of men don't even admit that there's a patriarchy, and those are the men that are highly under all the same programming and belief systems that they've been taught by society from childhood, and they've done no work to reflect and see, maybe I should question this belief. Wait, why do I hate women so much? Oh, I didn't even know I hate women. Oh my God, it's because they taught me not to feel my feelings, and women are very emotional, so I fucking subconsciously hate them and I treat them really bad. If a man hasn't done that internal work, it's not gonna get any better because you get married. It's not going to get any better. And I just think for the most part, it's not worth it most of the time. But if you are going to get married, like, you have free will, do whatever you want. I'm not your fucking boss, dog. But if you are going to get married, marry somebody that's done the internal work to identify these problems and will contribute to your life as much as you contribute to theirs.
You know, it's funny when women talk about how marriage is a slavery system. They never go out of their way to mention paternity fraud or how men are open to doing all the physical labor or any labor outside of the home to make sure that there's an income and resources inside of the home. Also, no one talks about the sky-high divorce statistics, which are overwhelmingly initiated by women, and how most men self-delete after divorce, and how alimony and child support financially ruin men. These women also don't talk about the withdrawal of intimacy and infidelity, or having to pay a 20-year mortgage, risking your life assets, your pension, all to settle down with a woman who is getting ran through in her 20s by studs at the bar. Go figure.
A lot of MAGA husbands do not love their wives. Instead, they see their wives as live-in maids and somebody who could pop out kids for them so that they can continue on their white genes. They don't actually necessarily care about the women that are building their homes that they live with. And the reason I know that is because I have gotten so many DMs from MAGA men that I can't even list them all here. And they have all said that they find feminist women so attractive and that they would love to have a wife that doesn't depend on them, even though they put themselves into that position on purpose by wanting to be a provider type. So here are some of the messages just to prove to you this point, and also to show that a man doesn't have to like you to marry you. You just have to make his life better and more convenient. And the sooner more Republican white women realize this, the better our society will be. Because white women have historically and consistently voted against our own interests. And even if care for human rights isn't enough to move you, the fact that your husband probably doesn't love you and is messaging random leftist girls on the internet asking to see her coochie, hopefully that will be enough. Okay, bye.
You know, here's a tricky one. Those MAGA women have secured provisioning and protection from that said man, and that man only sees you as something that he could have fun with. Also, you can't make a generalization about an entire group of men, because those men could be catfish for all we care. And also, we don't know if those women are good wives. Go figure.
Do you remember growing up how boys would always tell girls, get back in the kitchen or make me a sandwich as an insult? It was like a quick degrading thing that guys would say to you. Like, you'd be in a disagreement with them and they would just tell you to get back in the kitchen. And that is the thing, is like, men think that traditionally feminine roles are degrading. They think it's degrading that you would be in the kitchen making them a sandwich, which is why they hurl it at you as an insult. And I'm just thinking about it because right now there's this big right-wing push to get women back into the home, and conservative men are constantly telling us, like, you shouldn't have a job, you should actually be a wife and a mother, and you should give birth, and you should get back into the kitchen, and you should make me a sandwich. And the messaging is like, well, the home is where you would be the most happy, and the home is where you would be the most valued. And I feel like I'm being gaslit because I'm like, wait, you don't value women who work in the home. You told me it was degrading and that I should be like embarrassed to make you a sandwich. You telling me that women are the most valued in the home is the exact opposite message that I've been getting directly from men for my entire life. And I think what's happening is that men who used to tell us make me a sandwich as an insult, never really thought that women would have the option to do anything but that. So now that a lot of women are like opting out of marriage and opting out of children, we're choosing careers and we're starting to make more money, now there's this kind of panic like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? The women don't want to make us sandwiches anymore. But it's not because men like really value the domestic contributions of women. It's just because they miss the free labor. They still think it's degrading. They still think it's beneath them to like make a sandwich and clean the kitchen, but they definitely still want you to do it. It is very obviously useful for men to have a live-in maid and chef and like humping post at home, but that doesn't mean he values you for it. I see conservative men do this pandering shit like a woman shouldn't have to sit in an office for 8 hours. She should be at home baking cookies. But the truth is that he does want you to work. He just wants you to work for him for free. But I don't really think women are falling for it. I think you're going to have a hard time convincing women that cooking and cleaning is our highest calling, because we remember when you told us to get back in the kitchen as an insult. If you wanted more women to be wives and mothers, then you probably should have treated wives and mothers a little better. I don't know.
So here we have another pirate who's filled up with tattoos. You know what? The funny thing is, boys also used to want to be superheroes when we grow up. So are we really going to go off of that? And here's the plot twist. Women also find feminine men unattractive and prefer masculine men over soy boys. And here's another thing. Women are usually the first to complain about having to work long hours in the office and the work environment, and that being separated from their children and social circle isn't ideal, and prefer work-life balance. So you're really going to use what a 5-year-old boy said to you on the playground to inform your adult decision? And the truth is, marriage isn't free. It's more expensive to have a mortgage, a 4-bedroom house, taking care of 3 dependents than it is to be a bachelor with a rotation and using a meal prep service. Go figure.
This Tradwife trend is throwing me for an absolute loop. And ladies, look, I get it. We want to be with our babies. They're so freaking cute. You want to excel in your role as a mother. You want to excel at being a wife. I'm a perfectionist too, I understand. But I think we're missing the fact that you can still be in your femininity and know that a man is not a financial plan. If you have a husband that takes care of you financially, amazing, great, live your life. But you still need access to your own money. You still need your own emergency fund. You still need your own retirement account. All of the assets should not be in his name, because there is a dark side that nobody is talking about, and it hurts my heart so much, because I have seen this personally, with friends and family, and I have seen this happen to so many women in my DMs. Like, guys, you have no idea how many messages I get from women on a daily basis. Some of these women are recently divorced after decades of being with a husband who said that they would take care of them forever. And now, because they haven't worked in 10, 20, 30 years, they're unable to get a job commensurate with the income level that they should have been at. What I think a lot of people are missing is the fact that people don't go into marriage, I hope not, expecting to get divorced. Everybody thought that relationship was going to last. You are not unique. And I really hope that you would be the outlier if that's your situation, but do you really want to bank on that? Do you want to put your financial future, your economic security on that? Not to mention the women who are stuck in abusive relationships that they cannot get out of now because they do not have the financial means to go. Whether that's emotional abuse or physical abuse or financial abuse, aka where you don't have access to any of your own money and all of your purchasing decisions need to be run through somebody else who controls everything that you do with money, tells you what you can do, where you can go, how you can spend. And maybe you're like, Nicole, I wouldn't marry someone who's abusive. Girl, real talk, you realize that most relationships don't start out that way, right? Or they never would have made it to the marriage stage. And again, I hope that none of this ever happens to you, okay? But I need to call you out with love right now. Because if this message can reach one person and change the trajectory of that one person's life, then I am doing God's work. You need your own money. You need your own economic security. Because if shit hits the fan, the only person you're going to have left to rely on is you.
Sounds like she's already planning out a divorce. The funny thing is with these stories, we only ever hear the woman's side of the story, but we never actually hear the man's side or the truth. And, this is why I say men should avoid getting married to liberal women and should always have their bases covered. And, here's the issue. When you get married to and have a stay-at-home mother is that they're economically dependent on you as a man, and the courts will always rule in her favor. And sometimes prenups do get thrown out of court. So just make sure you keep all your legal bases covered. Go figure.
My husband doesn't cook or clean, and he still
an amazing husband. Here's why. He's a provider. He makes sure that all of our bills are paid, that we have all the food that we need, the clothes that we need, and we are always taken care of. Number 2, he cares about my emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. Not just mine, but our babies too. And number 3, he's fun. He loves to take us on little adventures, and he loves to get us little treats and do so many fun things with us.
Uh-oh. Don't let the blue hair brigade see you enjoying a simple life where you're actually comfortable within your gender role and you love having a husband and you're being fruitful and multiplying.
There's something so icky about like a guy being so happy.
100%. No, literally, Dave is always sad, and I'm like, this is so hot.
Right? That's
everything
hot.
makes him sad.
Yeah, but if they're so ecstatic,
no,
They cannot show joy like that. That's forbidden.
Yeah.
You meet a guy with anhedonia where they don't experience joy.
I'm the happiest when like the person I'm dating is like crying. I think that's so hot.
It's really masculine to just be like down.
Yeah.
And even if you are happy, like show it in other ways.
Yeah.
Like, you know, don't release it out
Keep
into
it to yourself. Don't show joy, like just smile slightly.
Don't be elated.
I like that our last conversation was just talking about men's bodies and what they can and can't look like. And then this is about
we're going to get so much trouble.
They literally can't be happy and they're like disgusting if they smile or show joy.
Yeah.
We just set the clock back 10 years.
You know, there used to be a saying that they should be seen and not heard. And now I'm beginning to see the wisdom in those words. But on a serious note, when men bottle in our emotions, all that frustration is going to find an outlet. So be careful what you wish for.